Hadoop cluster. So it contains the named nodes, data nodes. So much like the uh, massively parallel processing databases and NoSQL, so Hadoop also relies on the scalability factor that leverages local processing, memory, and storage to distribute the tasks and provide a scalable storage for data. So both MapReduce and HDFS so take the advantage of being an distributed architecture to store and process huge amount of data from all the nodes in the cluster. So here we have two categories of nodes, that is name nodes and data nodes. So name nodes are critical piece in data whenever a data is added, when data moves or deleted or read on a HDFS. So the name nodes coordinate where the data is stored and maintained for a mapping purpose. So all interactions with HDFS is coordinated through the name node. So you can observe in this diagram. So there is a name node as well as the data node on each rack. So name node act as a uh, primary coordinator whenever the data is being accessed on the storage devices. So again there will be a standby secondary name node whenever the name node fails. So the secondary name node will take over the responsibilities of a primary node. So the name node takes the write request from the clients and then it distributes the files to the available nodes in some pre-configured block sizes, maybe 64 MB or 128 MB blocks. So here each block is stored on a different machine. So name node is responsible for instructing the data node about the replication of data. So data nodes on the other hand, so these are the servers where the data is stored based on the directions given by the name node. So it is common to have many data nodes in Hadoop cluster to store the data. So data blocks are distributed across several nodes and every time so the data is replicated, so maybe 3 to 4 times across the nodes for the purpose of having a redundancy. So once data is written onto one of the data nodes, the data node selects 2 or more additional nodes based on the replication policies to ensure that data redundancy across the cluster. So here for storage purpose, the RAID technology is used, that is redundant array of independent disks. So it is not used in HDFS because the name nodes and data nodes coordinate at the block level redundancy, whereas it is not possible in the RAID technologies. So disk redundancy techniques such as RAID are not used because So in HDFS, the redundancy takes place at the block level, which is not possible in RAID technology. So this fig diagram, it establishes the relationship between the name node and data nodes and how data blocks are distributed across the cluster. So whenever a client writes the data, so it is first received by the named node. So name node will be responsible for block management. So you can observe here the client is writing 3 blocks of data. So when a name node receives that particular data, so it is writing that particular data into different data nodes. In rack 1, the block 1 is present at node 4 and 2, 3 are present in data node 1. Whereas in rack 2, so 1 is present in node 3, whereas 2 is present in node 4 and node 2. So if you can observe here, so each block of data, it is replicated. So block 1 is present 4 times, block 3 is also present 4 times, similarly block 2. So all the blocks are replicated here 4 times and they are present in different data nodes. So this kind of replication of data is done across the data nodes to ensure that data is not lost. So the MapReduce uses a similar model to batch processing of data stored on a cluster nodes. So batch processing is nothing but the process running a scheduled and ad hoc queries across the historical data that are stored in the HDFS. So query is broken into smaller tasks and distributed to all the nodes running the MapReduce in the cluster. So all these nodes will run that small pieces of tasks and the result is aggregated together. So that is the reduction phase. So this map reduction technique, so it is useful for understanding the patterns and the trends in historical maybe sensor or machine data, but they have a drawback that it takes a lot of time to produce the result. So because the time depends on how much data is being queried and the complexity of the query, that will determine how much amount of time the system will take to return the data. So if we have real-time process running where we need the result in very short duration of time, then MapReduce will not be the right data processing engine for having a real-time streaming analytics. So in MapReduce technique, so whenever a task is assigned, so it is divided into simpler smallest tasks and each smaller task is assigned to one of the node. That node will process and send the results. Once all the nodes send the result, it is again combined together and final result is obtained. So another important component of Hadoop is yet another resource negotiator. So this resource negotiator was designed in order to enhance the functionality of MapReduce. So initially, MapReduce was responsible for batch processing of data, and this particular negotiator was developed to take over the task of resource negotiation, task tracking, and allowing the MapReduce only to do the data processing work. So it is just like an addition of another layer to the processing, where MapReduce will do the only data processing. The resource scheduling and the job assigning and tracking will be done by this yet another resource negotiator. So with development of this with development of dedicated cluster resources scheduler, so Hadoop was able to add additional Hadoop was able to add additional data processing modules to its core feature set, including an interactive SQL real-time processing in addition to batch processing, which uses MapReduce. So in Hadoop ecosystem, Hadoop plays an increasingly big role in collection, storage, and processing of IoT data due to its scalability factor and its ability to work with large volume of data. So many organizations have adopted Hadoop clusters for storing and processing of data compared to the traditional complementary software packages. So the increased or incremental functionality that is being collectively added to Hadoop is called as Hadoop ecosystem. So this Hadoop ecosystem contains many software projects that are capable of nearly capturing every element in the data life cycle, from collection to storage to processing for analysis and visualization. So each project in under Hadoop is a unique piece of our overall data management solutions. So for example, we have Apache, then we have Apache Spark, Apache Storm, and Flink, Lambda architectures. So all these things are the projects under Hadoop. So if we look at this Apache Kafka, so it is composed of topics and message brokers, where producers will write the data and the consumer will read the data on those specific topics. So you can look at this diagram, the data flow in this particular component of Apache. So this is a distributed publisher subscriber messaging system, so that is built to be scalable and fast. So it is composed of topics, are also called as message brokers. So in these message brokers, the producer will write the data and the consumer will read the data on these particular topics. So it is again based on subscription basis. So since this is a distributed one, so it can run on a clustered configuration so that it can handle many producers and consumers simultaneously and exchange the information between the nodes. So allowing the topics to be distributed over multiple nodes. So the goal of this project is to provide a simple way to connect the data sources and the consumers in every way. Here you can observe the producer will write the data on the topic. So they are called as brokers. So, and the consumer will read the data from this particular cluster. So the data that is obtained from the producer are stored on the nodes in a distributed manner. So the another component in Hadoop ecosystem is the Apache Spark. So this Apache Spark is a in-memory distributed data analytics platform. So that is designed to accelerate the processes in the ecosystem. So here in-memory means the data that is obtained and stored in the primary memory so that the processing will become very faster. So the in-memory characteristics of Spark, that is what makes the jobs to run very faster. So at each stage of MapReduce operation, the data is read and written back to the disk. So this reading and writing will cause a latency. So this latency introduced through each disk operation. So in order to overcome this latency, with Spark, processing of data is moved into higher speed memory, which has significantly uh, lower latency compared to the batch processing jobs. Thus, this Apache Spark provides real-time processing of data. So this is also called as a Spark streaming. So Spark streaming is an extension of the Spark core that is responsible for um, taking live streamed data from message systems and dividing it into a smaller micro batches. So here you can observe that this Apache Spark, so it will read the data and store it in the primary memory of a node so that it can be processed in a faster way. So instead of reading and writing from the disk each and every time. So another component of this Hadoop ecosystem is the Apache Storm and Apache Flink. So these are designed for distributed stream processing. So they are commonly deployed for IoT use cases. So here the Storm can get the data from Apache Kafka node and process it in a near real-time fashion. So both these Apache Storm and Apache Flink, so they are helpful in real-time processing of data. So the next component we have in Hadoop ecosystem is the Lambda architecture. So the key elements of data, any data infrastructure to support an IoT is its ability to collect, process and store the data of multiple technologies from different sources. So querying of both kinds of data, the data that is in rest and the data that is in motion, that is the streaming data. So the ability to process both of them, that requires the combination of all the projects that are there in Hadoop ecosystem. So the architecture that uses all this is the functionality of a Lambda architecture. So Lambda is a data management system that contains two layers for ingesting data and combined data. So here the two layers for taking the batch as well as the stream of data, and another layer for providing the combined data for servicing. So these two layers allows the packages of Hadoop such as Spark, MapReduce to operate independently, and the result is combined together in another layer. Here the data is taken from a message broker, processed by each layer by layer in parallel, and the resulting data is delivered to the data store where additional processing and queries can be run. So again, here in Lambda architecture, the layers are added so that it can process all kinds of data, and it can also utilize all the software packages or the projects of Hadoop ecosystem. So this is the Lambda architecture. Here you can observe that the IoT smart objects will generate the data, and this particular data is published to a message broker in Hadoop ecosystem, that is Kafka, and this will in turn segregate the data into whether it is a real time data that is in motion or the data that has to be stored. So the streaming layer is separated as well as the storage data is separated. So the storage data is directly sent to the HDFS for storage, whereas the streaming data is sent to the streaming layer. So the streaming layer will do the further processing of streaming data, maybe real-time views, and then both these can be merged together for the serving layer. So this has three layers: stream layer, batch layer, and serving layer. So the stream layer is responsible for real-time processing of events. Here the Hadoop technologies like Spark Streaming, Storm, and Flink are used to ingest, process, and analyze the data. Whereas in batch layer, this contains batch processing engine to store the data. So here HDFS and MapReduce are used in batch layer processing. Then we have serving layer. So the serving layer is a data store and a mediator that decides which of the ingest layer to query based on the expected result from the user. So serving layer will service the user and get the data from either the batch layer or from the streaming layer, depending on the data request that is being raised. So the Lambda architecture provides a robust system for collecting and processing of huge amount of data, and also provides flexibility to analyze that data is gathered from different sources at different rates. So these are the concepts regarding Hadoop architecture. So we in Hadoop we studied the HDFS, then the Hadoop cluster that which contains name nodes, data nodes, then Hadoop Yarn,